Alright, so another episode in the road to 100,000 American dollars dividend portfolio to see how quickly I can take a portfolio from $0 to $100,000 if I had to do it all over again. Let's do some commentary, talk about the results, talk about the future as well. But just to do a quick recap, I started this challenge in the end of February. It was 2024. I was at the lovely beaches in Brazil, starting to do my first purchases from there. Now I'm back here in Ireland. It's the beginning of August 2025. Need to do a trip here soon again as well, so we get some nicer views on later episodes. However, let's take a quick look at performance right now, because we just had earnings from some of the larger holdings in the portfolio. But first, let's take a look at unrealized gains versus realized gains. We see $11,000 in realized gains and then minus $4,000 in unrealized gains. That's the nature of dividend portfolios. We see now over time here, because it's been more than a year, as you learned from the intro, and we see that a lot of money has been paid out in the form of dividend, and this money paid out, well, it tends to put a dampen on the stock price. So as you pay out $8 in dividend, well, then the stock price lose $8 as well. So that's one of the reasons why we have this big discrepancy between realized and unrealized gains. Realized 11,000 and then unrealized minus 4,000. We get a delta difference here of roughly 7,000 euros in this case. So a lot of that just coming from dividend, a lot of it just being reinvested. Let's take a look at the performance as well, just in terms of total contribution versus the overall value, so we know where we're at. So roughly halfway there, purely in monetary terms, but since the nature of money growth is exponential, we are actually 2/3 of the way and not just halfway there. So hopefully, if we don't have any misfortunes on the way, the challenge is gonna get completed sooner rather than later. So what are the racehorses, the stocks that we have in the portfolio that's gonna take me all the way to the finish line? Well, let's get them on the screen right now. Number 1, Medical Properties Trust. They had earnings, they performed quite well, although the investor appetite for the whole healthcare sector is not the highest right now. It's not very hot. We see a lot of companies in the sector suffering, stock price going down, although performance in the case of this REIT was not terrible, with 14 cents of normalized funds from operations on the latest earnings call. And in my opinion, I think that's a quite good result for a $4 stock. It's trading roughly at $4 as I'm recording this video. 14 cents in normalized funds from operations. They collected cash rent on a lot of the leases, and in this case they collected 97% of rents. So very, very good collection rate from the new tenants that are performing quite well. We learned that they drew some on the revolving credit facility. This was for renovations for a hospital out in Switzerland. So they're doing things to their properties. They are divesting, they are redeveloping, they have re-tenanted a lot, and they are collecting this cash rent. So dividend, we're gonna see. Are they going to increase it this year? Are they not going to increase it? It had 2 dividend cuts, and then I started buying, and I think that yes, indeed, they have the potential to increase it in the future. In the earnings call, we learned that management is not getting any stock compensation. Nothing will be vesting. unless share price goes above $7 a share, in the case for Medical Properties Trust, trading at $4 right now. And you know, like the good old Charlie Munger said, rest in peace, show me the incentives and I will show you the results. And the incentives right now needs a share price of $7, and I can assure you that management is highly motivated. As a matter of fact, Ed Aldag sounded very annoyed at the earnings call, you know, almost giving the analyst a handful for not listening in on the numbers earlier in the presentations. To be fair, earnings calls can be quite boring, and some of the people filling in for the analysts on the call, the summer interns, they did not have the most prepared questions, to say the least. And yeah, the frustration was shining through on that earnings call. And then for UnitedHealth as well, it's been a very rough time for them. They are underperforming by quite a lot. We've seen this in the past. We've seen this with CrowdStrike. I made a video talking about that. We've seen it with Meta, and we see overreaction to bad news. So in terms of the portfolio going forward, I will continue to buy UnitedHealth. I will continue to buy Medical Properties Trust as well, because this large dark cloud of risk that's hanging over the medical sector, I think it's over exaggerated, and I think there's money to be made in that sector indeed. We have Orion Properties as well. It's still office REIT, only it has rebranded a bit. No longer Orion offices, you know, now it's Orion Properties. Ooh, big difference. They have earnings here coming up. We saw another unsolicited bid on the entire company. We see private equity trying to buy it out. We've seen BlackRock and Blackstone do that to quite a few REITs. In this case it was Kava Capital Management, so a smaller company, and the management rejected the bid here in this case. So they started off at $2.5 a share, and then a second bid that was also rejected here recently at $2.75. I think that's good. I think that's fair to shareholders. I think that the stock is extremely cheap right now. Quite happy with the accumulation of roughly 5,000 shares in that case. So I think that positions me well to benefit from a potential recovery. But we will see. Will we work from home forever, or will we, be back in the office in a cubicle? Just looking around, day to day, I see for myself, I already sit in a cubicle, and I know that a majority of people are also getting back to, the office. So office REIT, heavily underpriced, heavily undervalued as a result. Definitely potential for large future gains, and those were the three majority holdings right now. And in terms of what I will do going forward, I don't plan on changing that anytime soon. Those will be the three main positions, and hopefully we can get to the finish line here sooner rather than later. Alright, that's been it for this video, and as always, hope you guys make a ton of money, whatever investments you decide to make. Take care now, bye bye.